I think for the first time, James Dolan is on to something. I mean, seriously.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought that James Dolan is on to something? And I think basketball and the NBA is just trying to put more money in their pockets. Adam Silver decided to not take the Disney job, and he's trying to find more revenue for the league office to bring in more money and more revenue sharing for them and all the executives working in the office, the home office in the New York office. Here's the problem. I agree with the whole James Dolan situation. Local television has been a part of the growth of the team's worth and the growth of building their channels and their television channels for all the other sports that have on it. I mean, the Yes Network has the Nets on it. It has soccer on it. And why? Because the Yankees are on it. The Yankees are drawing. And now all the other teams with the organizations that they're working with the Yankees are getting the Yankee fans to come and watch him. The platform is there for the Yankee fans to watch, if they're interested in the Nets games, to watch the Net games or some of the MLS games or the Red Bulls or whatever the hell that was on the S Network. MSG is big for the Yankees, the Rangers, the Islanders, all these teams.
Even Buffalo and the Devils are on
there. Buffalo and the Devils. And now you're taking away one of the biggest assets, the New York Knicks. And you're taking the Knicks off of regular television, televised games to put on ESPN or Amazon. How does that work? And if I was James Dolan, I would fight this. If I was an executive, this is my team. How could you tell me that I can't play my own team on a national on my television channel when I own the team? How could you tell me that? Now, what? Because you're giving me more money? I could be making just as much money. How, if I decide to sell my team, right? And I want to sell the rights to MSG because I own the rights to MSG, I'm going to lose out on money because of this. I have no control of it anymore, of the Knicks games, because the NBA is telling me, well, this game, that game, this game, that game is going to be on a nationally televised position. So how does this work? And again, James Dolan has every right to argue. He owns the Knicks. He has control of the Knicks and where the Knicks should be playing. Now, other teams and other owners are going to agree to this. Why? Because guess what? They're making money off of this. But there are other teams that are not bringing in as much revenue as MSG is. Okay? Madison Square Garden, being that it's one of the biggest, biggest stadiums, one of the biggest, biggest team growth, not just in New York, but throughout the New York metropolitan area when it comes to televised sports. You're going to take that away? SNY is loving this. I'll tell you that right now, because what is SNY going to do? SNY doesn't have anything to watch. And now, hey, you know what? And now that the Knicks aren't going to be playing as much as on MSG, we could start drawing those MSG fans to come and watch some of the stuff that we're putting on SNY, even though it's garbage.
Steve Cohen and James Dolan partners.
Well, Steve Cohen doesn't own SNY. He doesn't own SNY.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Wilpons.
Well, the further that ends up happening, maybe it won't work then.
Well, what I'm trying to say is James Dolan has every right to be upset about this. And I think a lot of these NBA owners should be stepping up and standing up for James Dolan on this, because all the NBA is looking at is making money for themselves. They're not looking out for the teams. They're not looking out for the owners. Now, Adam Silver is hired from the owners as the commish to look out for the owners. But now, with some of these owners looking past that and looking at the revenue sharing and all the different monies that they're bringing in through television deals, now the ownership is saying, hey, look, we're getting more money from Amazon because James Bezos is one of the richest people in the world. I don't even think Bezos owns the rights to Amazon as much anymore. And then you have Prime doing what it's doing right now. And then NBC Sports, which, by the way, has been a failure when it comes to analytics and analyst stuff and radio analysts, because they've gotten rid of their sports radio end of the sports end of it. So again, how does this work? And there are teams like the Knicks that are making tons and tons of money through their broadcast. How does this work for teams like the Knicks? How does this work for the Lakers? How does this work for, I don't know, the Miami Heat that bring in a huge amount of followers and fan base? I don't think this works. And I think, and how does this work? And who agreed to this? I know James Dolan wasn't agreeing to this. How many owners agreed to this that now it's implemented into the game?
Yeah, and well, think about all the local TV issues that baseball has had as well, and basketball networks are on a lot of the same spots. You were mentioning Yes Network, which that maybe won't be an
How about
issue.
NBA TV? And maybe this is why TNT decided to get rid of Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal and all those guys, because they can't, because now you're looking at ESPN and Amazon Prime and NBC Sports. They're the lead getters. And by the way, you know who owns NBC Sports? I got news for you, ESPN. So ESPN's starting to buy out as much as they possibly can.